our employee payroll system in Python. Here we will learn how to add JSON storage to store our data permanently. In the previous video, we had already created a base class called employee, followed by two child classes called full-time employee and part-time employee, and we had also created an employee manager class to control everything. But so far, all our employee data is being stored in the form of a list which exists only in memory. So the moment we close the program and rerun again, all our employee records are lost. So to solve this problem, we are going to add JSON storage in this part. We will begin by importing Python's inbuilt JSON module. And since JSON cannot store objects directly, so we need to convert each object in the form of a dictionary because JSON only works with basic data types. So at the end of each of the classes, employee, full-time employee and part-time employee, we are going to add a new method that will be converting objects to dictionary. And we will name our function as toDict. Now this function will return the object in the form of a dictionary. For every field, we are going to create a key value pair like this. For employee ID, we will type self.empid. So empid is the key and self.empid is the value. In the same way, we will create key value pairs for name and department. We will also add hourly pay and hours worked, but they will be set to none because these are not applicable for full-time employee class. We will have key value pair for salary, and here we will get the salary value using the getSalary method. In the end, I will also add a type field to define what type of employee is this. For the base class employee, I will keep the value as employee only. Now I am going to copy this method and paste it at the end of my full-time employee class. Here I will change the type to full-time employee. And in the same way, at the end of part-time employee class, once again I will be pasting this method and change the type to part-time employee. Also, we will change the value of hourly pay and hours worked. So instead of none, we will have self.double_hourly pay and hours worked. Alright, now we are going to go inside employee manager class, and right before the menu, we are going to add two new methods. Our first method will be used to save all employee objects to a JSON file. So here we will define our method as save to JSON, and inside this method, one by one we will loop through all the objects stored in self.employees list, and while looping we will also convert each of the objects to a dictionary using the toDict method, and then we will store this list of dictionaries in a new list named data. This step is necessary because JSON does not understand objects, it understands basic data types. So we have converted all the objects to dictionaries which are easier for JSON to understand and store. In the next step, we are going to create a JSON file. Let's name it as employees.json, and we will create this file in write mode as f is the file object, and using the json.dump method we are going to write our data to this file, and we will also set the indent parameter with value 4. Once all the objects which have been converted to dictionaries are written to this file, we will print this message: employee data saved successfully in JSON file. Now in the next step we are going to call this method in our add full-time and add part-time employees. So first of all, I am going here, add full-time employee function, and right after storing the object in the list, we will call save to JSON method. So here we will type self dot save to JSON, and using this method we are converting the employee to a dictionary and saving it to a JSON file. The same thing I am going to repeat in add part-time employee function also. So here at this point we will call the save to JSON method right after storing the object in the list. And now let's run the code to see if the file is created or not. I am going to add my full-time employee first. Let's give the employee name as Anita, and department is HR department. Monthly salary is, let's suppose, 56,000. So here let's see what the message is. Employee data saved successfully in a JSON file. New full-time employee added successfully, and then are the details of the employee. We will also add a part-time employee here. Let's give the ID as 2 and name the employee as Bob. Let's say the department is sales. Hourly pay is suppose 700 and number of hours worked is 100. So let's see if we get the same message. Yes, employee data saved successfully. Alright, let's end this. And here you can see employees.json file is created. So here we can see that all the objects that we have created have been stored in the form of dictionaries. For the full-time employee, we have hourly pay and hours worked values converted to null from none, because Python's none is equivalent to JSON's null and the type is stored as full-time employee. On the other hand, we have part-time employee, and here you can see hourly pay and hours worked values are not null and the type is part-time employee. In the same way, you can add as many employees as you want. Alright everyone, now let's move ahead and learn how to load data back from JSON file. So once again we are going at the end of employee manager class, and right after the function save to JSON, we are going to create a new function for loading the employee data from JSON file. Let's name this function as load from JSON. Now inside this function I am going to type my code inside a try except block, because we need to perform error handling in case the file is not created. So here right inside the try part I am going to open my employees file, employees.json. In the read mode, create the file object, and then using the json.load method I am going to load the contents of the file, and let's store them in a variable called data. So here data will contain a list of dictionaries loaded back from JSON, right? Now we will also reset the employees list because we don't want any duplicate values. So here we will type self dot employees equal to an empty list. In the next step, we must turn each dictionary back to an object using a for loop. So here we will type for emp in data. That means for every dictionary stored in data list, we will check what is the type of that dictionary. So if type is equal to full-time employee, then in that case we will create a new object of full-time employee type, and we will get the values for emp ID, emp name, emp department, and emp salary, because these values are required to create a full-time employee object. If you don't understand this part, then please refer to part 1 of my employee payroll system. And after this, we will create an object for part-time employee class also. So if emp type is equal to part-time employee, then in that case we will create an object of part-time employee type. Here we will get the values for emp id, emp name, emp department. So I am just inserting the key names here. We will get the values automatically. But this is part-time employee, so we need here hourly pay and hours worked also. And based on these 5 values, we are going to create our part-time employee object. Else we will continue. Now here we are going to append all these newly created employee objects to our employees list, and that was the reason for resetting the employees list, because we didn't want any duplicate values. After this we will also handle the except part. So except file not found error. So in case the file is not found, then we will print this message: no saved data found. Let's remove all the extra spaces here, and let's fix this error also. So it says a colon mark is missing here. Alright, right now if we restart the program and try to display all the employees, we get no employee to display. This is because whenever we restart the program, our employees list becomes empty. Now let's fix this by calling the load from JSON method inside the init method of the employee manager class. So here we will call load from JSON. This will make the program automatically read the saved data from the JSON file and store all those objects inside the list again. Next, we want to show all the employee details, including the type of the employee. So here let's rewrite the code inside the display all employees function. So I am going to type here employee ID and get the employee ID of the current object from the employees list. Similarly, we will display here employee name, emp.name. Next is department, emp.department. Next is salary, and to get the salary we will call getSalary method and format it. Now after this we will get the class name, whether it's a full-time employee or part-time employee. So here we will create one variable called employee type, and to get the class name we will write this line: emp dot class double underscore dot double underscore name. It's like saying give me the class name to which this object belongs. We will print in the next line type and then emp underscore type. Lastly, we will print a separator line. Let's run the code. This time I am starting by displaying all the employees first, and here you can see our output is now nicely displayed with employee ID, name, department, salary, and we have also added full-time and part-time employee details with each employee. And that's it everyone. With just a few simple steps, we successfully added JSON storage to our employee payroll system project. In this video, we learned how to convert our class objects into dictionaries, save them permanently in a JSON file, load the data back when we run the program again, and display the saved employee details. If you enjoyed this tutorial, then please mention in the comments below what else you would like to watch on this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my channel and this video with your friends. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, happy coding!